Nurnburgring in Germany for round 9. Lindholm was now 11 points ahead of Udo Mark. Edwin Weibel, who failed to score any points after his visor problem, still third, but now only 2 points ahead of Marcel Kellenberger, who was in 4th spot. From the start, it was Michael Rudruff, number 7, who made a flying getaway. Rudruff led the pack into the chicane, followed by Weibel, Schmid and Lindholm. The order was Rudruff, number 7, then Weibel, Lindholm, Schmid, Mark, Phyllis, Marcel Kellenberger and number 6, Owen Coles. And Rudruff stayed out in front on the opening lap, holding off Weibel, Schmid and Lindholm. This was Rudruff's best performance of the season, and he was only 9th fastest in practice. For the moment, the championship contenders just couldn't get near him. Kellenberger still making the pace, chased by Weibel and Co. But by the end of the opening lap, the pack were getting closer. Midway through the race, Rudruff dropped back, and now it was Lindholm, Weibel, Mark and Schmidt, with Udo notching once again fastest lap of the race. Lindholm, the championship leader, he knew he needed a victory. Udo Mark, though, was now up into 2nd place, and he, in turn, was hoping to get in front and cut back the Swedes' advantage at the top of the table. Into the last lap, and Lindholm led, but not by much, from Mark and Weibel. Lindholm with the advantage for the moment. Schmidt looked out of contention now, but the others still had high hopes of victory. Lindholm knew Udo Mark would try at the left-hander, and he tried to hold his line, but Mark was in determined mood, and the pair came very, very close to touching. It was Lindholm who held the advantage, though. Weibel joined the group in the sprint to the flag, and he seized on a mistake by Udo Mark to dive up on the inside on the last corner to go 2nd. It was a flat-out sprint to the flag, with Lindholm absolutely delighted to have won. Lindholm the winner, and Weibel snatching 2nd place by just 0.02 of a second from Udo Mark. Lindholm, Weibel, Mark, Schmidt and Kellenberger the order. And that's how they stand after 9 races. And we spoke first to Cralle Lindholm and then team manager Harry Winter.
As I mentioned before, the level is pretty high. The quality of all the riders in the top is pretty good, and the riders is showing that when we are doing the World Superbike, we're quite high up in the level, and bring them all back to Pro Superbike. We have close racing, and it's a high level.
Well, we asked team manager Harry Winter. Round 10 and the Nürburgring. And the Yamaha Aral team had brought in quicker engines for use in round 9. And Cralle Lindholm and the rest of the squad were hoping that they would prove just as effective in round 10. With 5 races to go, the situation was that Cralle Lindholm had a 16-point advantage at the top of the championship table. So, under starters' orders for the crucial round 10. The charge was on, away from the lights, not the best of starts for Cralle Lindholm, and it was Udo Mark who headed the pack with 2 other Ducatis, Edwin Weibel and Bernhard Schick, right behind him as they went into the chicane. But chaos in the middle of the pack, riders and machines everywhere. More than 5 riders involved in this first corner incident. And Karl-Heinz Hennemann getting back in the action. Let's see it from a different angle. Absolute chaos. Thank goodness for the gravel track. And Rainer Janisch emerged unscathed from that confusion. It looked bad, but it could have been a lot worse. Nobody was hurt, and 8 riders involved. In the rerun, it was Edwin Weibel who grabbed the advantage right from the start. He led this time going into the chicane, but Udo Mark was up there in 2nd place, and Jochen Schmidt on the Kawasaki was third. Weibel the leader, then Mark, Schmidt, Armati, Schick, Fred Bayens, Marcel Kallenberger, Lindholm, Hoffman and Roger Kallenberger. No sign though of Rob Phillips, and that was him. It looked as though he was being forced out onto the grass. Fastest lap once again going to Cralle Lindholm. Edwin Weibel then the leader, Cralle Lindholm in second place, but it was Udo Mark who was through into second place, chasing Cralle Lindholm as the pack started the final circuit. Edwin Weibel though in the threatening third place, and he dived ahead of Udo Mark to take second spot. But it all proved just a little bit too much for this man. Poor Gert Schmidt lapped for the second time and he fell off. Oil flags out though as the leaders got round to the final corner, and Michael Galinski decided he didn't like the look of that oil slick and he falls off on the grass. Perfectly unhurt, but another faller, and chaos and confusion abounds. That was Klaus Ehrenberger, and here comes Cralle Lindholm to victory. Behind came Edwin Weibel and Udo Mark, but as Lindholm celebrated there was drama. The officials decided that Udo Mark had allegedly passed Edwin Weibel on a yellow flag, and he was out of the results. Lindholm then extending his lead at the top of the championship table. Udo Mark without any points at all. Cralle Lindholm then on 207, Udo Mark on 178.